Welcome to Self-Love is Not Selfish, hosted by Safe Heart Connections, community host and founder Sam Morrison Wilson. We work with women to help them learn how to love themselves more fully, which by default improves their lives, and they get to make connections along the way. We're building a band of sisters that are stronger together and are becoming witnesses to the fact that self-love is in fact not selfish.
Hey there, Sam here. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at in the world today. I am so glad that you have joined us for another micro interview here at Safe Heart Connections. If you have been around for a while, I am so glad you came back. You're in for a treat today. And if you are new to the community or finding us on social media, we are so glad you found us. I have Dawn here today, and we're going to be chatting. She has a tip, a thought, a piece of advice that she's going to share with you. And I am so excited to hear what you have to say, because I know you typically find that you can help women that are creative authors. We have a lot of that in our community and in my world. And so I love to be able to share you with them, and looking forward to hearing what you have to say today, Dawn. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. I would love to share with you a piece of gold that I've discovered on my journey, the 25 years of being a therapist, a mindful coach, a yoga teacher, a mom of 4 boys, married, all the things, right? And discovering what I discovered, I find that I share it with my clients, and the eyes open up, like eyes wide open. We see life differently, and it's a little bit of a shift in perspective. And so this is what it is. 95% of what we think, what we feel, and what we do comes from the subconscious mind. So when I discovered that and learned that, blew my mind. Oh, clouds parted, the light was brighter, right? Everything became very interesting, because that means 5%, about 5% of the time we're paying attention, and we're aware, and we're awake, and we're tuned in, and we're intentionally living our life. And I believe when we do the work, which doesn't have to be hard all the time, but when we do the work, we can create more intentional living. We can shift that a little bit. So remembering, so what we think, what we feel, and what we do usually runs subconsciously, like we're not even paying attention. The other day I was driving to, it was funny because I was driving to work and I was daydreaming, and then it came to me and I went, I've been on the road for a minute or so, and I stayed between the lines. That was the thought that came up. Like, I stayed between the lines. Cars are going that past me, and I'm thinking, but I stayed between the lines. Wouldn't it be interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting if, when we have a negative thought, the limiting beliefs, the unworthiness thoughts, I can't, the shoulds, all that, if we, the minute we have that, we come back between the lines. And between the lines is that intentional, eyes wide open, living awake, consciously creating our life. That's, to me, that's like the secret to living, is knowing that the mind will go into that autopilot state. And we have the ability, we have the power to intentionally live and choose what we want. But to me, that was just mind-blowing. And there's an author, Joe Dispenza, who talks about our personality. Way back when, again, I've been doing this for 25 years, a long time. Way back when my meditation was like, what's meditation? And now more people understand what meditation is. But we thought way back when our personality was unchangeable. This is who I am. This is how I was born. Just the way it is. And it's not. And there's research. That's what I love about Joe Dispenza. He does a lot of research on the brain and the body and spirituality and the alignment of all of it. And he says it this way. Our personality is what we think, what we feel, and what we do all day long. Well, our thoughts are changeable. Our emotions are changeable, and our actions are changeable. So that means our personality is changeable. And there's so much more research too out there on our genes. Our DNA is changeable. And that's what fascinates me about research. So I had a client once say to me, Dawn, because I had said, we choose our thoughts. And he said to me, no, we don't. I disagree. I said, okay, tell me more. Let's have this conversation. He said, I get some wild thoughts that pop up in my brain that I am not looking for and I'm not choosing. Said, you are very right. I totally agree with you. But here's where our power lies. We have the power to choose where we put our attention. We can have a thought that comes up that says, I'm no good. I can't do this. Everyone else can make it, but I can't. But the minute we get that thought, we can say, wait, between the lines, I'm back. Between my lines are success and worthiness and confidence and whatever life I want to create for myself. That we get to choose. That's where our power is, right there. And once we start understanding that and realizing that, it opens the doorway to our truth, who we really are, and all that, like what I call creative juices, start to flow, and we start to rediscover, sometimes discovering for the first time who we are and who we're meant to be, and it becomes really fun and really enjoyable. And what I invite you to do, my little tip to really implement this, because I do know that sometimes this work can feel overwhelming. Like, I got to do this, and I got to do this, and then I got to implement this, and I love this quote. I don't remember who it's from. 1% improvement one day at a time. 1% improvement one day at a time. And so that might look like this for some of you who want to try out meditation, but you've been hesitant because my mind won't stop and I can't do it and I can't sit still. And I will tell you right now, meditation is 100% successful when you do it. And when you do it, it's working. 1 minute, 60 seconds to sit and just tune into your breath. That's just step number one. That's the 1%. Just start there. And when we start there, even that, hand on your heart, hand on your belly, being present with yourself. And I'm just going to focus on my breath for 1 minute. That's like the flexing the muscle of the mind to stay present, focused, intentional. That in itself can make huge shifts in the direction of where you want to go. So hope you give that a try. Of course, I'm here for questions and to dig deeper, but meditation has saved me time and time again. So I highly recommend it.
So I agree with everything you said. And it's always exciting when someone's sharing and I'm just thinking, yes. And so I'm standing with you. One of the things I teach the women is something that I was taught, and I believe in the 1% thing, but I call it something that I was taught, which is just noticeable differences. Just enough different to know you did something new. If you're going to start a new routine, you want to start meditating, which I actually create some guided meditations for the women, and they get a new one every week in the community. And it's definitely not, I'm not an expert in creating them, but I'm having a great time creating them, and the women seem to love them. And so they're not just the 1 minute where they put their hand on their heart, but that is such a practical thing to do, because when you can just do 1 minute, that's all it takes to really start that new habit. And they continue on and continue on. And so you said, I could probably touch back on everything you said, but I won't, just for sake of time. But I know that the women that were listening to this, that they will get some value from it, because what you shared is so true. I teach them also that you get to choose your life one choice at a time. You get to create the life you want one choice at a time. And we focus on gratitude and thanksgiving in our community on a daily basis, because I believe what you focus on is what you're going to see, what you're going to get. And I also say that when you have a thought that doesn't serve you, I literally will touch my head and say, not true. And being able to catch it, what you're calling being being intentional between the lines, which I absolutely love. It's the same thing, right? We have to catch it to change it.
Yes. We have to see it to change it. Yes. We have to be able to be aware of it with loving kindness, right? With the non-judgment, to be able to go, oh, I see that. There's no story we have to tell around it. No judgment. Just don't need it. Don't need that.
No, not true. And if you can, then replace it with the truth.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
catching it's the first
right.
step and then
Yep.
replacing it with the truth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, we could talk for hours on this, right?
Yeah, we
Right.
could. We could.
Yes.
Well, Donna, I'm so excited that we're connected. I am excited to share you with my women in the community and on social media, wherever they're watching or if they're listening on the podcast, they'll be able to click through and learn more about who you are, because this was very much just a little snapshot, and see how you help in the world. And if they want to connect with you, they'll be able to. Do you have any closing thoughts today before we wrap?
I wanted to say how grateful I am for you for bringing me here, to involving me in your community, for the community that you're creating, because it's all about community. It's all about collaborating together to raise the collective consciousness of the planet, and we have to do that together. And having communities like this to do that is just beautiful. It's what we need.
I agree completely, obviously. Dawn, thank you so much. I will keep you posted on this, and I will see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.